So welcome as we figure these things out, this high technology here, this next edition of Folks Talking Sports, episode 119. Joining me is my man, Willy Gibson, and soon to be joining me is Mr. A.D. Moore from the ad Max Korner. Mr. Gibson is doing double duty, and I guess so is A.D. Moore. They got through minutes ago talking about the Browns win over the Texans.
Yes, sir.
How much grief did you give? Well, first off, excuse me, my man. How are you?
I'm doing well, my brother. How are you?
Doing well. How much smack talk did you give Mr. Moore during the Ad Max Korner show?
No, not a lot. Like I told him, man, this is the third 10-win season for the Browns since 1999. I don't have a lot of room to smack talk right now. You know, just gotta rock with it and keep it moving.
That's fair, and that's noble of you, sir. Because my man, last night on the Rockets show, even though we were talking about the Rockets win and Alfred Şengün scoring 37 career high and all those things, my own family bring him in as well. My kinfolk, my folks watching the show, my LTHR family, KG. How about them Pistons, man?
Ooh.
How about I'm like, all right, okay.
Hey, way to show y'all love going in that route. And what Tuesday, the Cavs out the record books. We'll take that. Thank you.
So 26 straight losses, all those good things. I'm like, yeah,
27.
I know my team sucks, and I know I predicted, I guaranteed they'd win Thursday, and they didn't against what was left of Utah. And come to find out, Detroit took those dudes for granted. Y'all lost 20,000 in a row. Ain't taking an opponent for granted, but that's why y'all lost. Anyway, Mr. A.D. Moore.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to ask you.
Yes,
Mr. Gibson was being noble and professional. How much smack talk did he give you on the Ad Max Korner about the Browns win over the Texans, sir?
Mr. Gibson was very professional, very forthright. And wait a minute. Here's the thing about it. And here's what I appreciate about it. Because we posed him a question. He said, well, do you want me to tell you the truth or tell you a lie? And I think we were talking about once when Deshaun Watson went down.
Yeah.
Well, and he said, well, you want me to tell you the truth or tell you a lie? I said, man, this is the corner. We just lay it out there. You know, if some folks may call it a lie, but no, at the end, I had to let him go ahead and expound on the Buckeyes. I would have been remiss, but so I wanted to, because here's the thing about it. When you have an opportunity to get a guy with his knowledge and with his pizzazz and with his chutzpah, and when you got a chance to get him on your show down here, which I had this, and it's the first time I've had him. We've talked about it.
Right.
And I'm appreciative of him coming on, but it won't be the last time. But I really appreciate him coming on. But I just had to tell a story about how he tried to slip into Houston last year.
Oh,
and then I'm going like, that look like Willy Gibson.
Yep.
That is Willy Gibson.
Yeah, you got me.
Tony M., thank you very much for watching us here on YouTube. You can also watch the show on Instagram at Folks Talking Sports, because it does seem like I did it correctly. So you can go to Folks Talking Sports on IG if you want to do that as well, or follow us on Musk at Folks Talk Sports. So it's a little different on Musk as well. Y'all know Musk is different. And Musk, I'm hanging on there for a little bit, not much longer. But joining me is from the Ad Max Korner, Mr. A.D. Adolphus Moore. Salute to you, sir. And let all three of us give a shout out. Thank you, Tony, for those kind words. Someday the Pistons will win again. Someday. They won't go 2-80. But I won't guarantee it.
What's the record? I mean
2-27. 2-27. They lost 26 in a row.
So they won more to tie and then two more to set a new record, right?
No, one more. They tied.
They tied the record last night.
Yeah.
Losing 26 straight in the season, 26 in a row in a season. Yes, I think for what overall 29 in a row, lapping over 2 seasons. They might get that. Rockets game is on January 1st. I'll say this: I doubt it will happen because I have no reason to believe they could do it. But man, oh man, Willie, AD, Rocket, Tony M, Rocket folks who are watching, if by some chance, if by some miracle, if my Pistons beat the Rockets in H-Town on January 1st to end the losing streak, I would talk so much trash to all of y'all.
Wow.
All of y'all.
Wow. Man,
yeah, right well, you know what? I guess if you do, you'll be what they quote unquote, you're gonna break the internet, huh, Kris?
Well, in my own little world, I would, yes. But
I'm still trying to understand, man. I know it's a young team. They remind me a lot of the Rockets a couple years ago.
Well, I'm going to comment here on Justin. We're going to talk Florida State in a second. Detroit tried so hard to get Monty. The only Tom Gores did. $12 million per, making the highest paid coach in the NBA. They got him, but the guys aren't motivated to play for him. Nah, part of it. Part of this is also Monty's too nice. Part of it also is on the players who couldn't stop Tony M, Justin, Will, AD, or me from scoring points. Couldn't keep us out the paint. I mean, right now, me and my 51-year-old self could beat them off the dribble.
Wow.
And that's not give me any praise because my hooping days ended 30-some years ago. But the way those guys play defense individually, looking at you, Jay Ivey, you, Kay Cunningham, you, Marcus Sasser, Arthur Thompson, all of y'all, your defense sucks. Plus, combine that with I don't know what they're coaching y'all because the pick and roll defenses, they have no idea what they're doing pick and roll.
Well,
whatever.
Kris, let me ask this question then. I mean, everybody sort of pointing the finger at Monty, but I'm sitting there going like, look what Monty has to work with.
Oh, no. That's part of it as well. GM Troy Weaver has made a lot of misses. Owner Tom Gore spoke to the media on Thursday or Friday. He acknowledged some mistakes. He acknowledged that he expected them to be in contention for playing this season, which I didn't think they would be. I thought they'd cap out around 30 wins if everything went well. Everything did not go well from September when guys started getting hurt. The veterans were hurt. Then everything started going on the toilet. But yeah, this team was flawed from the jump. So some of the colleagues, national writers who had all these high expectations for them this season, I was like, based on what? I don't know what y'all see that I don't see. Combine that with a new head coach, new staff, no quality vets, as Willie and I talked about off air, who can keep them in line, help them get themselves in order, help them be professional, help them sometimes forget about the coaches. This is on us. This is what we need to do. They have none of those dudes, none of those vets. And Justin bringing up this comment right here. A lot of national folks said the same thing about Cade right there.
Wow.
So Cade has to take some blame for this. His defense is poor. Still, he missed all of last season. He missed, 70 games of the season. Mm-hmm. So it's taken him a while to get back to NBA shape, game skills, game management, all those things. But his decision making is awful. When he's averaging almost 5 turnovers a game, that's awful. We're going into the third month of the season. He hasn't fixed that yet. And then his defense against Utah's backups, he got lit up. So this is on him. But a lot of folks saying Cade was so great. A lot of folks said Jay Ivey was so great. Detroit got such great youngsters, and now they're not playing well. Oh, Troy Weaver's made the mistakes. Well, hold up. A lot of y'all said these are great draft picks. But now they're not playing well. Now it's Troy Weaver's fault. I'm confused. Either they were talented when he drafted him, or something's happened. What happened there? Detroit won the draft. They won. Jalen Duren's been injured. That was the issue. They miss him, miss his presence. Troy Weaver, you know this, being covered in Central Division with the Cavs. Marvin Bagley, James Wiseman, same dude. You don't need the same dude. Neither one of them have reached their expectations yet. He got 2 of them. He tried to get these low risk, high reward dudes, and all of them have failed.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. That's the issue right there.
So in other words, should they bring Joe Dumars back?
Joe's happy being executive in the NBA league office. That's what he's
doing.
Joe is the Lord of discipline. He's handing out all the suspensions and the fines. That's what he's doing now in the league office. And Jalen Duren is hurt. He's the big man you're talking about from Memphis. Well, James Wiseman, you talk about, well, yeah, both of them, really. But Wiseman hadn't done anything. His defense is bad. It's just, this is not about Detroit Pistons, because I could give y'all a long list. I could do the whole show about those sorry-ass Pistons, but I'm not here to do that. Marcus Sasser is struggling. Cougar ties, so I can talk about him struggling. He's been struggling for like a month. 5 minutes, Will. 5 minutes, AD, Justin, Tony, in 5 minutes. Marcus had 2 turnovers in 5 minutes.
Wow.
Didn't play the rest of the game. Why would he? He's turning the ball over, poor decisions, not making shots. Pick a dude. There's not one player for Detroit playing well. Add it all up. I mean, that's what you get. To the extreme. To the extreme. And I say all that to go back to it. If by some miracle, and it will be a miracle, but if by some miracle, woeful Detroit comes into H-Town on New Year's night and beats the Rockets, I'm going to do a Let's Talk Houston Rockets show right after that game. I'm going to be cheesing, and y'all can just smile and say, how about that?
I read, or did I hear it? I heard it that in the calendar year of 2023, January to December,
they won 4 games.
They won 4 games.
Yes, sir. I said it last week on the show. They won 4 games.
Okay, I'm like, when did I hear that? I'm like, are you serious? Like,
they won 4 games. 4 games. 2 January to April when they were intensely trying to get Wemby, and then now 2 more since late October to now. Yep. So they're like 4-59, whatever. Y'all know however many it is, but they won 4 games all year, the calendar year of 2023. Yes.
So, well, let me ask the question: are y'all gonna make double-digit wins this year? Can y'all get the double-digit?
AD, I'm trying to get to 3. I told Will that on Thursday. I'm trying to get to 3.
I'm trying to add. Hope springs eternal.
Double digits. I'm trying to get to 3. You can't get to 10 without getting to 3.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, in the streak first. I'm 10. Let's get 3, and then if you get to 3, then 4, and then if they get to 4, 5. 10 is a pipe dream right now. 10. What? Come on now. But in all seriousness, if Detroit, a lot would have to go wrong for the Rockets to lose to Detroit in Houston on January 1st. Honestly, a lot would have to go wrong.
They got the Jazz again on the 3rd.
Oh yeah, they play. I mean, but who knows? At some point it's going to end. I just don't know when it's going to be. At some point. Let's see. The media, my colleagues up in Detroit, they're lighting up. Not Troy Weaver so much, but all of them are saying a change needs to happen. In personnel, fans are frustrated about, saying after loss to Utah at home, sell the team. Tom Gores ain't selling the team. Please, come on now. I mean, I know y'all are fans being fanatical, but he's not selling the team. Give me a break.
Dan Gilbert may hope he does.
Yeah, but
that's another story.
That's another story, and that's not happening.
Another story. Oops.
Troy Weaver will be safe this season. Monty Williams, this was an issue. Will, you and I talked about it at the time when Monty got the job. Monty he turned down the job the first time.
Yep.
And then Tom Gores raised the price and gave him $12 million a season. And then Monty said, okay, well, I think I would consider. Yep. So that was a red flag right there.
Yep.
So this is part of what they get. But in all seriousness, Florida State and ACC. Because this is, folks, Talkin Sports, get that mug right there. Get you some FTS merch. And Mr. Moore, Brother Gibson, I don't know, did you acknowledge it on AD's corner?
No, I didn't.
Okay, but Brother Gibson is getting his own merch.
Yep.
Mr. Oh, really?
Moore? Yeah, the Will Knows podcast.
Okay, well, outstanding, sir. And next time you're on there, man, just that sweatshirt or whatever, just sit. See, Kris is unabashed, and he just sit there and here you go. Kris, whatever, poet, wag, whatever.
Yeah, I want all of us to eat. I want all of us to shine, be in the spotlight. I want all of us to eat. So yes, do that. Absolutely. Florida State is suing the ACC. The ACC is suing Florida State. They filed theirs Thursday. Florida State filed theirs Friday. I'm going to ask you, AD, you chime in a second, but Mr. Gibson.
Yes, sir.
The Ohio State University, Big Ten country. What say you? Because you seem adamant, but do you believe Florida State will be in the Big Ten?
Do I believe? No, I do not.
Ever?
No, ever's a long time when you take the 4 off that. No, boy, that's another story. Never say never, but in this current iteration, I would say no. No, I don't believe.
Okay. Do you believe? Because I don't believe they'll be in the SEC.
There you go. That's where I'm going. Yep.
Because I do not believe, and for a few reasons, because, folks who chiming in on all the platforms could say it, pointed out about, well, the Longhorns are in there after the Aggies. That's the Longhorns. Texas is a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Florida, University of Florida will be, since those politicians are already over there in Florida man world, are already sticking their nose in businesses that really pertain to them. But beyond the Capitol steps, hell no, we don't want Florida State in this conference. No way in hell. Georgia, proximity. Nope, we don't want them in this conference. Nope. So the only way I could see Florida State in the SEC, and some folks have written about it and discussed it, is if is to prevent the Big Ten from adding the Seminoles, adding Florida State, and adding the state of Florida as a market. So it'd be defensive.
Prevent away.
That's the only way I can see it happen.
Yep.
Hey, guy, maybe I'm missing something, but I mean, I know Florida State still upset, and I think there's some justification, for them to be upset. They went undefeated, didn't make this, the college football playoff, and rightfully so. If you go by what they say is the reason how what they selecting teams on, but I'm going now. You start suing, but then wait a minute. That stands to reason, because down there in Mar-a-Lago, we got a guy that's been suing everybody else. So I guess that's a disease in Florida. If you don't get your way, you start suing folks.
No. The not being in the CFP Final Four was the last straw. They were going to sue the ACC regardless. It's just a question of, they were going to announce it. There's a question when. They've been playing this for a year. Now, it was going to happen. They do not want to be in the ACC, unless a lot of financial things change in their favor,
$172 million, Your Honor,
to stay in their conference.
Their attorneys at the Board of Trustees. When did they sign this contract? Because we talked about this a little bit. I had a chance to talk about this a little bit earlier, in the press box in between the Browns, having practice sessions on the Houston Texans today. But quit smiling, Will. I mean,
you said that. I didn't say that.
You said it, yeah.
I didn't say that.
I mean, hell, it was, man. I mean, come on. Like I said, I thought that was Darryl LaMonica for the way he was throwing bombs around here. But anyway, I digress. But I'm going back to this point that these schools you got enough money, you can soak money into paying lawyers as opposed to paying kids. I mean, you don't get your way, so we start suing folks now. I mean, they've been in the ACC for how long? Just because you got a down period? I mean,
no. This is those. What you're saying is true to a point. They've been plotting this is a better way, plotting this since the Big Ten got their huge media rights deal, which is 40 to 50 million, ultimately more per school than anybody in the ACC will get in their deal. So they've been part of this. They're the ones who say we cannot sustain it. That's what they're saying. We cannot sustain competing at the national level with such a huge gap in revenue between us, ACC members, Big Ten, and SEC members. That's part of this. Okay, that's part of it. The thing is, ACC schools signed the grant of rights deal.
Right.
When ESPN proposed the ACC network a few years later, they said to them, we will establish the ACC network, the linear TV network, TV platform, if y'all agree to extend these grant of rights to 2036. The initial grant of rights was set to expire in 2027. But ESPN said, and now Florida State people, attorneys, fans, etc., saying ESPN gave the members an ultimatum and said, either y'all extend this grant of rights or no TV deal. And that's why the member schools agreed to it. Some folks say that Commissioner Phillips was the only person to actually sign the extension, and not the reps for the other member schools, because he's the commissioner of the conference. So he signed it and agreed to it, whatever. He's got some ties to Raycom. His son's part of Raycom. That's a whole other part of the conspiracy. Raycom, all those things. But the member schools agreed to the extension. If I'm a lawyer and I looked at whatever version of the grant of rights on the internet, shout out to Andrew Carter from the Charlotte News and Observer, the way it's worded, Florida State signed it, agreed to it. You know, the lawyers can say, we felt coerced into this. How are you going to prove coercion in a court of law, Will? Because you signed it. AD, you signed it. You can go to whoever the person in charge as the signatory and say to them, is this you? Is this your name?
Quick question.
Yes, sir.
Who appoints the commissioner? Who approves them to have that position? I mean, what are the people who? Isn't it the presidents of these respective
of course, the presidents do all that. Yes, the presidents.
Okay, so that means
yes.
So that means the presidents have appointed the commissioner. The commissioner has negotiated a contract, and all of us, and he has in the. Let me see, trying to remember some of my B law. So he is he acts as the attorney in fact, his signature in fact for the rest of the schools because he is the commissioner of the athletic conference, Atlantic Coast Conference, correct?
Correct.
So when he put his name down there because he was approved,
he was
put in that position by the presidents of these respective institutions, correct?
Correct. So but see, you are correct. I agree with you. Will, chime in, feel free. But I think, well, this is what they're trying to do. The Florida State fans, boosters, supporters, all those things, they're trying to say, well, because none of us, our actual Florida State, our president, actual Florida State representatives signed it. We didn't sign it. We did not agree to the grant of rights. So therefore, we're getting out of the grant of rights. Will, is that how you're going to interpret it?
That's what I'm hearing. But how? You agreed that this man was representing you in all conference business. And now that he's done that, really, I wanted to do it. No, that's not how this works.
No.
And there are other things about the conference. The ACC will not let the member schools get copies of the grant of rights so they can see themselves. They have to come to the conference office to view the grant of rights. They can't take pictures of it. They can't make copies of it, all those things. But what I think is legit is they don't want the schools to have it because then it'd be open up to freedom of information requests. Yep. And they have to make that info public. So that's why they have not, and that's business by a lot of folks.
Yep.
They don't want all this stuff available. Certain politicians, certain private businesses, private entities, private business. Government, you have to you avail yourself to freedom of FOIA requests. Yep. But if you're a private business, you can make that request, but we're private. We don't have to give you that. We don't have to let you see this. So that's part of what they're doing. That's part of what they did. The thing is, see, Justin, welcome, Justin. Thank you, my man. See, that's what we do here on FTS. Talking about sports, not just about my sorry Pistons or the Texans. We're talking about Florida State, the ACC, and the business of Division I athletics. But I don't see how they're going to win.
No.
Some folks have a different viewpoint. Well, I'm saying like
where's the lawsuit filed? Let me ask. It's not
Florida State. They filed theirs in Florida. The ACC preempted that, filing theirs in North Carolina. So they beat them to the punch.
Yep.
They filed theirs Thursday. Florida State filed theirs Friday. ACC filed theirs Thursday in North Carolina. Florida State filed theirs Friday in the state of Florida. The only way, and I'm not sure how this would be a win. Well, I know how it would be a win ultimately, is they'd settle, financial settlement, financial agreement. Both sides agreed to some massive payout. Will touched on it. The FSU lawyers said during their Board of Trustees presentation that the total fees owed that Florida State would have to pay right now, this year, is $572 million. Years previous, the exit fee was nothing. Well, that was before the grant of rights. And that's before the grant of rights was extended to 2036. The 572, part of it is the $42 million per member school payout times 12, because if they get out now, times 12, whatever years left on the deal. And then the fee you owe was like $120 million. So that's roughly how they get to 572. So I'm not sure why Florida State is so shocked at that, because if you're trying to leave 12 years ahead of time, do the math. 12 times 40 plus million plus whatever else gets you 572.
Yep.
But so the end game, and this is where AD, Justin, everybody chime in. Do you think, I don't think they should, but do you think the ACC would agree to a financial settlement letting Florida State get out of the ACC, which it seems like with all the brash and bluster they want to do, but I think they just want a bigger slice of the pie. Agree to a settlement, let them go, then figure out who's going to take them. Will says it's not going to be the Big Ten. I think if Fox said, we can come up with the money, you take them in Miami, for example, we'll find the money for those too. That would happen. I don't see it being the SEC, period. Big 12 fans are saying, well, it could be big. It won't be Big 12.
It's basically down to what, 3 power conferences now? Well, let me put it like this. There are 2 power conferences and a little small brother. And I'm calling the SEC one. I'm calling the Big Ten the other. All right.
Right.
Those are the.
AD, you're correct, but AD, is the ACC a power conference without FSU as a member?
Now, no. A few years back, it depends on who's the king of the hill now. At this point right now, Florida State is the king of the hill. A few years back, it was Clemson. Remember Clemson that started making...
Well, yes, but that's football. And that's part of, that's part of the realignment decisions. But in terms of demographics, TV market size, state size, all those things, Florida is Trump, South Carolina. Okay. Eyeballs, TV numbers, all those things play into this decision as well. And Clemson to the SEC.
Let me ask this quick question, Chris. Is Notre Dame still an affiliate of the Atlantic Coast Conference?
Yes, and everything, but not everything, but
not
hockey, right? Will
hockey's the Big Ten. Yeah, hockey's the Big Ten.
Hockey, all right, so wait a minute. Notre Dame is independent football, affiliate of ACC basketball, and then hockey. They part of the Big Ten.
Yes.
Nowhere in America, man, they can one university can be it.
Oh no, because Will, Oregon State and Washington State
Mountain
reached
West.
agreements to be affiliate members in the Mountain West a few days ago.
Yeah, I saw that.
But
I just saw the headline.
Like a handful of their sports may have to go to the West Coast. Wait, no, they agreed to football is going to the Mountain West.
Right.
The other sports will be in the West Coast Conference.
Yeah.
And then maybe like 2 or 3 varsity sports will have to go somewhere else because the West Coast Conference does not offer scholarships for those remaining sports. So right there, AD, Justin, Tony M, Will, is further proof of what I've said, I've decried, Will said, is why doesn't football, college football, simply separate itself from all the other sports? Because AD said it. He touched on it. Notre Dame is independent in football, affiliate member in the ACC, hockey in the Big Ten. So please stop telling me. And then you got Oregon State and Washington State football in one conference, other sports in the West Coast Conference, and then the remaining sports will be in something else. So don't tell me it can't be done, that you cannot separate college football from everything else.
Yeah, it can be done, but how many Notre Dames out there? One.
That's true. But I'm not saying I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Ohio State, Alabama, Texas, USC. The big time football programs could have their own thing, which is going to happen soon if President Charlie Baker has his way with the creation of the extra subdivision and raise and basically have an entrance fee to be a member of that club. Will?
Yeah. Yep.
That's going to happen.
Yep.
Just a question of how many members can afford to pay that entry fee. And I'm not sure eventually, for the short term, UH will be a part of that because Tillman would pay it. But long term, I don't see how Houston can survive without additional income. If the entry fee to be in the club is like $50 million a year, whatever, I'll just put out a number, whatever.
Go ahead, AD. My fault, AD. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Now, I was just going. So let me just clarify this. Each school, as far as this super conference, has to contribute $50 million a year.
I think Charlie Baker said $30 million is the minimum.
Okay,
$30 million is the minimum.
Okay, all right. So let me just sort of look the elephant in the room, and I'm just going to call. Where the hell does that leave Title IX?
That's part of it. You pay your entry fee to this new subdivision. You allow yourself to create your own rules, have your own autonomy, that you determine if you're going to do certain things.
Kris, that still does not say they're not going to do away with Title IX. I don't care what you say.
No, they're not going to. But AD, if those schools agree to an entry fee, and their lawyers will find a way around Title IX, or they'll just say, okay, we'll have these schools over here, with Title IX and still be part of it, and that still would exclude, because those schools who can afford to pay the entry fee can probably afford to have their Title IX be good, their membership. But other schools like Houston, Memphis, Texas Tech, other schools like that who cannot afford to pay whatever the entry fee is agreed to and Title IX, they can't do both. So there will be a delineation between the upper crust and everybody else. It's happening. It's going to happen.
Okay. I'm still looking at this $572 million that they asking. I wrote it down here. I'm still looking at. This is a state. We're talking a state institution. We're talking supposed to be quote unquote state institution of higher learning education.
Yeah.
This sounds like a brokerage deal going on in Manhattan. I mean, this sounds like Wall Street.
And think about it, AD. The numbers we just talked about on the corner.
Yeah.
2.3 and the 1.4.
Yeah.
We're talking about 572 million. So what about what we're talking about? We're talking about. He asked me what Marvin Harrison's
his NIL
deal for Marvin Harrison to come back, which he's not coming back.
Right.
He said he's not coming back for his senior season at Ohio State. But there are reports that the friends of the program are preparing a $20 million NIL package to entice him to return for his senior season, which he's not, because the math isn't mathing. The third pick of the 2024 NFL draft in year one makes $24.1 million between signing bonus and first year salary. So they're about $4 million short. And Marvin Harrison Sr. is not letting him come back, period. So, but to that point, $572 million, you got $572 to buy your way out of this deal. But until before 5 years ago, kids couldn't get cream cheese on a bagel.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And now, you know, you got people, well, how are these players? Because I know a player right now at Ohio State, projected to be a mid to late second round pick in the NFL draft, is pretty much going to stay for his senior season because his NIL is more than he would make as a second round pick in the NFL draft.
And that means he would. I mean, in the second round starts at the 33rd pick.
Yep.
And the 33rd pick in the NFL. That's a big number.
Yep.
I mean, think about, that's the 33rd player taken overall in the draft. And this kid looking at his decision is, do I continue to pay for this sum of money, or do I go be the 33rd? And the reason I'm saying 33rd because 32-10, whatever.
Sure.
That's the start of the second round.
Right.
Yep.
And so this kid is balancing. You know what? Hooray for the kids.
Oh yeah. See,
no,
I have no problem with it. What all this is doing and has done the last few years is crystallize what I have said about college football at the Division I level. It's semi-pro sports. It's pro sports. Folks have been, oh no, it's amateur athletics and all. The hell it is. It hasn't been for years. Stop living in fantasy land. Open your eyes to what's going on. As Coach Chip Kelly said, look, it's time to start paying these players. Stop with this farce. And all of this, the schools don't have the money to do this. It's going to ruin college sports. It's going to ruin college football. Then why are you paying coaches on a $10, $11, $12 million? Why are you paying the strength coach $1 million?
No, more than $1 million.
I'm just putting out that number.
Right.
So don't say to the public, well, no, it's on the public to open their eyes and stop believing these lies. And in some of these schools, some of these cities that the fans live and die with the athletic programs, the cities, the education systems are trash.
No, I can't put my head on that.
You know, I'm not saying about, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
there are some cities that are college towns that financially everything else is in shambles, but hey, our head coach is taken care of.
Yeah.
And folks are good with that. Open your eyes to what's going on. What's important? The coach being highest paid, or the professor, or the teacher, or the police officer, the firefighter? On and on. To Justin's question right here. Do I think FSU will go to the Big 12 or UH? No.
Mm-mm.
Not enough money. Unless money falls from the sky for Florida State. And one possible, well, never say never, but one possible way for that to happen is if the Big Ten and SEC say no to Florida State. You have no home. But Brett Yormark also says, come to us and we'll give you a bigger slice of the pie, which will then make the Big 12 like it used to be on Texas, with Texas in charge. That's not happening. These member schools are not going through that same stuff. The old 8 are not going to go through giving one school 75% of the pie and we get 25%. They're not going to do that. So my question is, what is Florida State's end game? Will says it. He believes it, that the Big Ten will not invite them. Right now, I believe the SEC won't invite them. And I will add something else into it because Florida State, they have put napalm behind them where they're walking forward. So I don't know. Never say never. Anything's possible in business. But I don't see how ESPN would be happy with them being in the SEC on the network. I don't know why Florida State would be part of ESPN because a lot of FSU people are convinced ESPN kept them out of the CFP. They are convinced ESPN was the reason we won Alabama in the Final Four, not Florida State. And there are not just fans, fans are fanatical, but there are people higher up in the decision-making pipeline at FSU who believe that we're not going to be with ESPN. No.
You mean like a U.S. senator? That's high up. You talking about you're referencing to a U.S. senator, i.e.
Yes, I am. But I'm talking about also on campus.
Yeah, okay.
In the decision-making process, yes.
Yeah, well, hey, you know what? U.S. senator gonna Trump.
All those as well.
They Trump everybody on the campus anyway.
But see, the politicians trying to swoop in and say, yes, we're going to save Florida State. Believe us. We're going to get this done. We're going to fight the good fight. FSU, they don't have a good case. They have a good case. It's not a strong case. They're not going to win. I don't see them, especially, and y'all know this. Justin, you know this. Tony M, you know this. If by some chance the ACC loses the initial lawsuit, the ACC is going to appeal. This is going to go on and on and on and on.
Well, in the first place, Kris, I don't see. And no, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to try to play one. I had a year worth of B law. Understanding that. Here's the deal. I think that by the ACC going ahead and filing the initial lawsuit and the fact of where they filed their lawsuit, I think that puts them sort of in the seat of power.
I agree.
And again, I'm trying to go back to this issue. Well, the commissioner that you will help appoint, all of a sudden he can't sign for you. I'm going like, so who? I mean, did Willy Gibson walk in there and take the contract and take a pen and draw and draw a line? Did you draw a line through that part of the contract?
Right.
And want to initial it and take it out? Because I darn guarantee you that part of it's no way. No, they're not gonna do that.
Here's the part that bothers me, and it bothers me on several fronts. These are allegedly institutions of higher education. These are the upper crust of the intelligence in the country. And now you're telling me, well, we didn't know. But come on, man, cut it out. Then why am I sending my kids to your university?
Right. And
how am I going to trust you with educating my child if you don't understand simple contracts? Well, I'm sure it's not a simple contract. I'm sure it's complex, but you don't understand the contract and the parameters and the ramifications of signing said contract.
And
come on, man.
And like I said, how are they going to prove they were coerced into this deal? Was a gun to your head pointed at you? I mean, that's what I'm saying. How will you prove coercion in a court of law?
Right.
Because you still signed the contract, or the representative that you appointed signed the contract. So how are you going to prove in front of the judge that you were coerced into what you believe is now a bad deal?
Exactly.
That's what I want to know. And let me say, full disclosure, I am a Florida State fan. Go back to Bobby Bowden days, the fumble Ruski, all that stuff way back when, the trick, the fake punt way back when Florida State was building the program.
Right.
All those, because I hated Nebraska. I wasn't a big fan of Miami. So I tried to latch on to somebody that was on the come up. Back when Deion was there and way back. But I'm just saying, how are you going to prove that you were coerced into agreeing to extend the grant of rights?
Exactly.
And the kicker is that came out Friday at the trustees meeting is that ESPN has the unilateral discretion to end their media deal with the ACC by 2027. Negotiation window begins in 2025. So 18 months, 24 months, 25, 27. ESPN has the unilateral discretion to end their deal with the ACC or extend it to 2036. And that's the part where folks are like, what?
How about that?
How about that? Why did y'all agree to that? How dare you? So FSU putting all the dirty laundry out there for everybody to see. So ESPN is not happy about that for sure, which is another reason why I say I don't see how Florida State will be part of anything pertaining to the ESPN going forward. But I think I pulled it up here. Let me see if I'm going to have to read it, so bear with me. But I do not know everything. Be the first person to say it.
No.
So let me see here.
Yes, you do, Kris.
Part of the grant of rights. My phone won't cooperate with me, but okay. One of the clauses. Each of the member institutions acknowledges that the grant of rights during the entire term is irrevocable and effective until the end of the term, regardless of whether the member institution withdraws from the conference during the term or otherwise ceases to participate as a member of the conference.
Oh, so did I translate for that? I want all mine. That's what I heard.
Okay.
I want all mine.
Thank you. AD, Justin, one more time. Each of the member institutions acknowledges that the grant of rights during the entire term is irrevocable and effective until the end of the term, regardless of whether the member institution withdraws from the conference.
Well, all that blustering that
how y'all gonna beat that?
Well, come on, man. It's the dichotomy of the word, okay?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
it's the dichotomy of the word.
I want to hear this. Go ahead.
Yeah, because that we're going down to the basic, and you know it's probably that terminology in there that is probably a Latin phrase or Greek phrase, and I think somebody's gonna jump up and say they didn't quite understand the Latin of the Latin term of the word. I don't think they understood that. That's
So the judge will say, so you signed something you do not understand? That's your fault. Case dismissed. Let's get on out of here.
Hey, I was just trying to come up with some form of, I mean, because like I say, nobody kicking no money my way, so I'm not gonna get bogged down in it.
But do y'all agree with me based on that's item 6, paragraph 6, whatever it is, how you want to read all the stuff in the contract, but in the grant of rights, acknowledgments, representations, warranties, and covenants is the title, the context of that paragraph.
Right.
Justin, what say you? You're still watching us on Instagram, YouTube, or Musk. Each of the member institutions acknowledges that the grant of rights during the entire term is irrevocable and effective until the end of the term, regardless of whether the member institution withdraws from the conference during the term or otherwise ceases to participate as a member of the conference. Make it make sense to me, Will.
Are the attorneys for Florida? Are they working on pro bono or somebody? Or who's footing this bill?
Please. Probably Florida State boosters, and at some point down the line, citizens of Florida.
The taxpayers are going to wind up.
Yeah, same thing. Taxpayers, citizens of Florida.
Taxpayers going to be footing this bill.
Yeah. But like I said, all those politicians coming in like they're superheroes, we're going to save the day. Give them those. Let them read that, what I just read, and have them explain how they're going to beat that. Because here's the doomsday scenario. If the ACC agrees to a settlement with Florida State, then what would stop Clemson, North Carolina, Virginia, Miami, and other schools and other conferences? Well, FSU challenged the grant of rights and won in a sense because they got a financial settlement. Well, let's do that here.
Right.
So the precedent that this could set could truly have a massive impact on Division I athletics.
Well, wait a minute. All right, hold up, guys. The commissioner of the SEC, and correct me because I think this came. Well, it's been out, but I think it's been restated in a couple of ways. And the commissioner of the SEC, aren't they going back to Congress? Want Congress to help protect them from their own selves?
Well, that's not just Greg Sankey. A lot of the conference commissioners want Congress involved for the antitrust exemptions. They want to help them pass a nationwide NIL package to establish guardrails for all of the member schools to adhere to. Right, Will?
Yes. Right.
So okay,
they want
as if Congress don't have enough to do.
Exactly.
Now they got to come in here and protect institutions of higher learning where you have your physicists, you have your mathematicians, you have some of the top law schools in America, in the world. They can't cobble together a deal that could be amenable to them.
They don't want that.
To Congress.
They don't want that. These financial issues, the financial reality, has been staring them in the face for years. Colleges, Division I administrators for years continue to perpetuate the student assets. Oh, my bad. The student athletes are not employees. They don't deserve to be paid. They don't deserve to get any money. They don't deserve, just the last 3 years before it got NIL. And that's because they lost lawsuits. They lost in the court.
Chris,
so they've refused to acknowledge this for years. They should have got together as members, reached some sort of agreement that was amenable to, if you want to just do it to the Autonomy 5, Autonomy 4, whatever. And then everybody else say, okay, here are the rules. Here are the parameters for NIL. Could have done this 10 years ago. How old is the Ed O'Bannon case, Will?
Wow.
80. Ed O'Bannon, what, 80? Was it in the 80s, Will? Mid-80s?
No, not that old. No, not that old.
You talking about Ed O'Bannon?
Ed O'Bannon, yeah.
That was at UCLA, man.
He saw himself on his friend's video game.
Right.
So yeah,
Ed O'Bannon, but Ed O'Bannon is in his 40s now. Well, okay. Well, wait a minute. Okay. If he's 40, about 25 years ago.
Yeah, maybe late 90s.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So way back when, the court case was decided, looks like in 2014, 2015. So let's go back. Let's say 10 years. The NCAA membership should have, 10 years ago, realized we're starting to lose these these court cases. We need to figure this out and be proactive. But you had President Mark Emmert, who could not spell proactive.
2009. Sorry.
2009. It was decided 2014. Finally, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the final, but it was
So
initially filed in the
years.
mid-90s.
No. 09.
2009.
2009.
It was decided, but I'm talking about, but Ed O'Bannon filed. Didn't he file it early?
No, he filed it. He saw the game in
2005.
Yeah.
Okay.
Played in 95.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's what I got you.
Yep. He filed it in 2009.
Okay.
So that's when they should have realized we need to get this resolved. They didn't do it. They kept kicking the can down the road, not kicking the can down the road. So the ultimate irony is they want to get the ultimate can kickers involved, as in the politicians in Washington, D.C., to resolve their issues. Most of those folks couldn't solve crap. They just kick cans down the road in perpetuity and hope people don't realize it. So you got one group who failed to be proactive 15 years ago, want to get another group who hasn't been proactive for 50 years and say, please help save us from ourselves. And that's where we are. So
yep.
I am curious to see what the ACC does, what Florida State does, what the Big 12 does. Eventually, I do think the ACC is going to change membership. And I think at some point, the Big 10 will expand 2 schools, whatever those 2 schools may be. The Big 12 will take whoever the Big 10 and the SEC don't want. That's what the Big 12 will do. If that's Louisville, Pittsburgh, Clemson, whoever, they'll take them. And then maybe we'll get to what is it? 54 to 60 members in 3 conferences. Something like that.
Wow.
So 18 to 20 per conference, which I hate, because a 20-team conference is not a conference. It's 2 10-team conferences smashed together. But that's what is going to happen. And then at some point down the line, when they do establish the next subdivision of Division I athletics and have that exclusive club based on really an entry fee, that 60 members will probably whittle down to 20 to 25 for those who can pay that entry fee annually. This is what's going to happen. Also, I think there will be a collective bargaining agreement because there will be some sort of union for the student assets. Doggone, I did it again. The student athletes, my fault, NCAA. Oh, well, no, I'm not an employee of y'all. The student assets will form unionize, and then there will be CBAs, collective bargaining agreements, to hammer out more of the details about pay, taxes, all those things. It's all going to happen. Just a matter of time. AD, Will, Justin, wrapping it up. The last few weeks, more and more, Tony M., if you're still watching, more and more, my alma mater, UH, has started referencing Linking Coogs, the NIL, as almost as a partner. They started posting those links to Linking Coogs. It's a collective. On the press releases, it's on the website of uhcougars.com. Coach Willie Fritz, I asked him about it on signing day, his thoughts on NIL, and he mentioned he's looking forward to working with Linking Coogs to help fundraise.
Yep. I saw that clip that you had out there. It was interesting. He hit the ground running, Kris.
Yes. But the fact that UH is acknowledging an NIL collective, it's like their, what am I trying to say, a favorite nation status has been appointed to Linking Coogs. This is the business of college athletics. Universities, athletic departments have chosen their favorite collective to help support their student assets.
Yep.
Will?
To your point, I want to say that I've been waiting to say this. I saw your coverage on signing day. kudos to you. Great coverage. Congratulations to you. But it's refreshing, and I'm probably gonna cast aspersions, but it's okay. It's refreshing to see you cover an adult in the room.
Yes, it is.
And I can only imagine me watching as an observer from afar, you being in the building. I was watching it like, man, this is so different from any other coverage I've watched since you and I have been together. So I was like, wow. So I just wanted to say that.
Appreciate that. And thank you for saying that, because I forgot. I had a moment. I meant to do this at the top of the show. All three of us need to give a shout out, a round of applause to AJ Andre Jones.
Oh, no doubt.
For putting the three of us in touch with each other.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So
no doubt.
Me and AD go back years, but we met Brother Gibson through AJ. And through the platform, the lunch break, we are now collaborating on these shows, on the Max Korner, on Folks Talking Sports. Brother Gibson, his Buckeyes, Will Know Podcast. The Buckeyes are in the Cotton Bowl.
Yep.
Mr. Moore and the Fifth Wildcat have been approved to cover the CFP National Championship game under the Houston Roundball Review Media Group umbrella. So that's another reason why I'm discussing football and other sports, not just hoops, here on Folks Talking Sports. Because I just got to let folks know, because some folks don't know, didn't know, and on rare occasions, some folks might have forgotten. I'm not new to this, but I am true to this. So I know sports. I know what I'm talking about. And Justin, spread the word about this show, because Brother Gibson, you and I, AD, I haven't seen too many other shows with credentialed members, not former athletes, credentialed members who look like us talking about these issues.
Correct.
You can just let me just use the euphemism. We're the equivalent of the 60 minutes. Okay, we are the equivalents of the 60 minutes, because, like I say, it's not all X's and O's and everything, because it's more to it than that. Now, on the professional level, that's one thing, but the nuances and everything that goes on in college athletics right now, that's how come out. I was half-heartedly tongue in cheek when Willie was talking about Marvin Harrison Jr., but I was sitting there going like, let me be Marvin Harrison Sr. Yeah, you can go on down there if you want to. You put one foot on that field, go play a game. Are you kidding me? No. And it's interesting, because I remember what Tony Dungy, when Marvin Harrison was going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and Tony Dungy told a story about Marvin Harrison. Tony just sort of mentioned something in a joking way to Marvin Harrison Sr., and Marvin just, Marvin's not a big guy. Now his son is like what? His son 6'4", and Marvin Harrison Sr. is what, 5'11", maybe.
Yep.
But Tony Dungy told a story about how he was joking, and Marvin just made it clear right then and there. And this one, when Tony was the coach at the Indianapolis Colts, and he made it clear, I don't joke about that. I mean, with the story, because that's a serious, he takes what he does, his profession, serious, and that's why I come out with just sort of, that's why I asked Will going like, all that what Ohio State purporting to put up, what did the daddy say? Because at the end of the day, that's the reason that father is there. That's the reason that you're not gonna have a situation like you have in Memphis with a certain player that I chose not to, because his father's sitting there being a father, started sitting there being a pal and want to hang around with it. That's a father protecting the interests of his son. That's why I emphatically and specifically asked that question to Will, because I know good and well This, he's been through that grind. He's been through all of that, and he's not gonna let his son make that decision, not by himself. As smart as intelligent as he think he might be, there's something that comes with age, and age comes wisdom, and that's the reason that you have that father there for him to direct him, and that not telling him.
Yeah,
not telling.
Junior's got his dad in his corner.
Yeah,
Justin, let me give you this shout out. Thank you very much. Justin says, I'm usually here for Rockets and UH coverage, but I'm branching out into the other round ball review content. Appreciate that, man. The media group, because hopefully Mr. Moore will find out that he's been approved to cover the big game for the 3rd straight year. You'll find that out soon enough. All part of the Houston Round Ball Review media group. I've applied again to cover the women's Final Four, which the Round Ball Review has been approved for going on 20 plus years. So different things. It's not just Rockets, not just UH. I know some folks, Kris, man, why you talking about these other sports? Why you got Willy on here from Ohio? He's not from Houston. What does he know about blah, 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 blah? Because I'm trying to get people to think outside of our box and give us a broader perspective of sports business, the business of sports, all those things, and not just in our little Houston Cougar bubble.
Well, and Kris, let me just add this addendum, because Willy, he added a little caveat when he was talking about Marvin Harrison, because he made the comparison between Marvin and CJ Stroud, what their NIL was at that point in time, and I'm sort of going like, oh, okay, because he's on the scene. Literally, he's sitting right there at the Ohio State University, and I underlined
Stroud.
Yeah, and I did underline that the
I appreciate you.
Yeah, I know you're gonna give me that look if I did.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, so Justin, let me do this real quickly. We'll give everyone appreciation. Wish you happy holidays, whatever you observing. Happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, happy non-holiday if you do that too, whatever. But thank you very much for taking time. So salute to everyone. Mr. Willy Gibson, I'm going to give you the platform first to let everyone know how they can find you as soon as I can pull it up amongst all of this info I have listed here, because I know I have it. There we go. It's your world, sir.
Sir, as always, appreciate the opportunity to be on with you gentlemen. That's the Cross State. You can find me on X. I do it. It's the end of the year at Will Gibson 7, and on all other social media platforms at Will Knows Sports.
Mr. Moore?
Yes, sir.
How can folks find you, sir?
Well, you can find me X, Twitter, whatever Elon Musk is calling, or how much money he's lost, depending. He might rename it again, but right now you can get me at AD_Moore64. You can see it right there on the bottom of the crawl. Instagram is the Max Korner, and also the Max Korner on YouTube. And I appreciate it. Thank you. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, my channel and the rest of the channels, please do so. All you got to do is just hit the subscribe button, and it's very much appreciated. Because I tell you what, like I say, we can roll and battle with the best of them, and I don't take a back door to anybody. With the gentlemen that we have here, and with the knowledge that we come in, that we possess, and with the facts, we can sit down and we can debate the issues with any and everybody. We take a back seat to no one. Period.
Thank you, sir. And I am KG Kris Gardner of the Houston Roundball Review. Find me on IG, Spoutable Threads, and TikTok at Houston Roundball Review. Appreciate everyone. Bring everybody back in and see if I can do it correctly. Excellent. Good. Gentlemen, thank you as always for your time, taking time out. Y'all did the double duty, starting with the Max Korner, but it's all part of the Houston Roundball Review Media Group on YouTube and part of the Max Korner on YouTube. Brother Gibson,
yes, sir.
Do you have your shirt?
I don't have it today. No, I don't.
Well, just give a shout out to how folks can. Is it ready yet for purchase?
No, it'll be ready beginning of 2024. So that was just the markup
All right.
I moved last week. So 2024 will be rolling.
Excellent. To Tony M, Justin, everyone watching us on Instagram, YouTube, and Musk, we hope you enjoyed it. We hope you enjoyed the dialogue back and forth among all three of us, as well as the interaction with you, the audience. As always, spread the word about the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel and the other platforms. As AD said, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, hit that bell so you can receive notifications of upcoming shows, more content in the future. If you want to advertise on this show on FTS, because we are looking for advertising on FTS, email me at kgardner@thehrr.com right here. kgardner@thehrr.com. Get your banner placed in the upper right corner, and if you want to, have it included in a crawl going across the screen or posted on the screen like you see right there with my email address. Wrapping it up. A lot of fun today on episode 119 of Folks Talking Sports. The Houston Roundball Review since 1994. Local name, global perspective. Y'all take care. Peace.